There's one famous man on this planet who constantly talks about the Matrix and how society has been skewed to make it increasingly hard for the average man to get a woman. This man constantly preaches money, 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 but that's not what women want, and even scientific evidence backs up this claim. You see, there are men in society that have the skills to make women addicted to them using a couple of simple hacks. They hack this money-driven matrix in such a way that you see the wives of billionaires often settling for a man who has nowhere close to the money of their previous partners. Jeff Bezos is a prime example. Get ready to be shocked, forgers, as these are subtle hacks that every one of you has probably thought about but doubted whether you should implement. Now your gut will be backed up by some evidence.
Fearless Forge.
Number 1. Stop agreeing with women on everything. From the day you were born to the day you came of age, you've been told by people around you that you cannot be a yes man. You can't continually say yes to every single thing a woman says, and you most definitely can't let her lead you when it comes to the conversation. You see, when a woman knows that she already has you, she doesn't want you anymore. It's as simple as that. Her intuition tells her that you already like her, and you're showing her this by agreeing to everything she says. This means the attraction fades rapidly, and now she either leaves or you have a boring relationship where you just follow the motions. One thing that older men do is they stick to their beliefs and their opinions regardless of how she looks or how cute her personality is. This creates a little bit of tension. Now, bear in mind that you don't engage in conflict, but rather playfully do this. Once she notices you don't agree with her, she'll double down on trying to convince you, which is exactly what you're looking for. Why do you want her trying to prove you wrong? Well, the time it takes her to make her case is time she's solely spending on you. In fact, you're occupying her mind more than anything else. If you don't think this works, look at yourself, and whenever someone argues with you, you probably obsess over being correct. And when the other person eventually gives in and you win, you realize just how much you and this person now have in common. This subtle technique is one of the best you can use to have presence in her mind all day. Science tells us that it takes approximately 17 days for a woman to fall in love. So by the time she wins the argument and realizes you're wrong, she's already so drawn in that there's no escape. Number 2, say no. Sweet and simple. You should learn that saying no is far more powerful than saying yes. You see, women have been taught by society that they now hold the power, and many truly believe that men should abide by their rules if they want to satisfy their primal urges. But why should you? Doesn't it turn into just another form of addiction that consumes your life? You see, older men grew up in a time where the word no had been uttered far more often than yes. In fact, many married men will agree that their wives had them on no for a long time, and only after they started flipping the script and rejecting them just as much did things change. Women, on the other hand, have had it a bit easier, and life tends to treat them as these weak beings that constantly need to be satisfied. Psychology tells us that this is a recipe for disaster, and some of the great psychologists of the 20th century, especially Freud and his obsession with sexual interactions, often teach you that people need to suffer, at least a little. Nothing can just be handed out on a silver platter, or it will never be respected. Older men have been burned on many occasions by saying yes, and they've learned this in a similar way that your brilliant mind is learning it now. You see, whenever you say yes to a woman, you need to ask yourself, why did you say yes, and what has she done to deserve this nod of confidence? In essence, older men tend to say no just to make a woman understand that she's not the only person to get her way in a relationship, and when it comes to saying yes, she'll have to earn it. Now, you're probably thinking how this is going to make her addicted to you. Let's explore. Once you tell a woman no or you reject her, the common fear, which stems from insecurity, is that she'll seek her desires somewhere else. This isn't true. As much as you believe that she'll randomly cheat on you, you need to forget about that, as women are emotional creatures. This means they first cheat emotionally before they actually make a physical attempt. In your mind, you think she's going to meet the next Zac Efron when she goes out, but the data shows something different. Most men on the planet tend to be average, and this means that she has a far bigger chance to meet someone weak instead of the guy she fantasizes about. Now that the insecurity is addressed, the no factor comes into play. Much like when you don't agree with her on everything, saying no when she hasn't given you a reason to say yes is a prime way to make her chase you more. Since you're a forger, you've been building yourself and making yourself a man of value, so how will she replace you anyway? This means she's wondering why you're saying no, and it occupies her mind due to the emotional dimension it triggers in the mind. So once again, doing the counterintuitive thing will make her think about you constantly, and in many cases, she might even try harder to get you to say yes. Number 3, men who are non-reactive add another level of addictive frustration. Finally, picture yourself on a date with a beautiful woman. You've probably been talking to her for a while and find that she's incredibly well-spoken, intelligent, and ultimately the person you truly like. However, she has a non-reactive demeanor, and whenever you speak to her, it seems like her mind is elsewhere. So what do? If you're a forger, you probably walk away to keep your own dignity intact, but most men push harder and harder, believing that the Hollywood fantasy of persistent pursuit will change their minds. Now, when you flip the script and become non-reactive yourself, you'll notice the exact same behavior in women. In fact, it might even be more intense from their side. The reason for this is that even though you've slowly become accustomed to such behavior when going on dates, she's never had to deal with a man doing it to her. Jordan Peterson has perfectly summed this up in his suggestion that women want to have the untamable beast, which doesn't react and doesn't respond, believing they can change this frog into a prince. Now, as you grow older, your mind is preoccupied with many things that are going on in your life. These things should automatically give you a bit more of a non-reactive personality. However, when you can add to that, you'll notice that she'll try even harder to crack that powerful masculine facade, which creates another type of obsession in her mind. So how can you actually go about creating such a facade? Well, the first thing to understand is that no matter how much she tells you she cares, she doesn't give a single damn about your emotions. She's probably prying for information that could be turned on its head and used. In fact, she's prying for weaknesses, which you're not going to give her no matter what. She'll start saying things like, "I just can't seem to read you," or "It feels like you're a closed book." Now, when you look at the psychology of humans, you'll notice that the human mind hates unanswered questions and missing pieces. Much like your mind will go crazy when you have a puzzle built and a few pieces are missing, her mind will do the same when you don't give her all the puzzle pieces to complete the picture. But wait, there's one more thing you already know but don't include in your life. Number 4, mystery. Mystery ties all of these simple hacks together, and one of the best ways to make a woman addicted to you is to make her work for information about you. By not giving her all the puzzle pieces, saying no more often than yes, and only agreeing with her when you actually do, you're becoming more and more mysterious. This creates a rabbit hole which has a similar effect as drugs, and it becomes addictive to find out more and more. As you become more mysterious, your personality will also shift, and you'll realize that people notice you being mysterious without you even trying to talk to them. Not only does this make the current woman you want obsessed, but it could even draw in more and more women into your life. Eventually, it creates a snowball of success, but the scary thing is that it only takes a few simple hacks to get the snowball in motion. As you can see, you already know these things, and if you've been watching all the videos on this channel, you should have more deeper insights into how to become a man that women get addicted to. Make sure you double down on this by watching the next video to learn the 9 social skills men use to make women sleep with them, and forge your own addictive personality to get the girl you desire.